Somehow I should be able to click on this. There we go. If you're going to take notes, this is the only notes you need to take. And that's my contact information. You can take a picture of that. While you're taking a picture of that, if you choose to take a picture of that, that's my name. It's not a nickname. I had the best mom in the world. She gave me that name and this nose and said, folks will remember you. That's my phone number. If I'm on the mountain, you'll get a message because radio waves don't go up that high. tnrick@yahoo.com is my email. That's my website right there. And then I'm on tnrick on Instagram if you happen to go on Instagram at all. So again, if everybody's got a picture of that, we're going to be set. Now, I said in my little write-up that I was not going to ignore the nature photographers. I don't know the first thing in the world about nature photography. I have gone out with people that shoot nature, and I follow around, and they'll take a picture, and I follow right along behind them, and I take a picture too. And then I get home and delete them. I don't know anything about it. I don't much like that. With this, I will ask you this question. These are the nature photographer guys. What's the smallest aperture you have ever used? Wait, what? Okay, let's see. How many people have shot at f/16? Okay. How many people have shot at f/22? f/32? More than f/32? Really? It goes up that high? I'll be honest, for me, I like to shoot at f/2. I'd go lower than that if I had a lens that went lower than that. But I don't want you to think I'm always out at f/2. Sometimes I want to get some depth of field. So I'll occasionally go up to f/4 if I'm feeling really racy, like if I'm living on the edge. Now, what I did is I thought I knew there was going to be nature photographers here. So I was going to take one picture, at least one picture, where I really pushed the envelope. So I took that picture right there. I went to f/8 and a sweat broke out on my face. I got to f/11 and my fingers started to tremble. I got to f/13 and I'll be honest, I did not really take this picture. I swooned, I passed out and hit the ground and the camera went off and I took that. Now, that's for the nature photographers. The rest of the time, we're talking portraiture. Now, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to tell a few stories. I'm a hillbilly. We can't talk without telling stories. So I'm going to tell a story or two. We're going to see a few photos. And we're going to examine a few beliefs and challenge some of those. And that's what I said before. Please don't take everything I say as gospel. It's not. It's my opinion. That's all it is, just my opinion. And I'm like everybody else in here. In fact, I've seen some of your work, and a lot of you are much better photographers than I am. I'm just a guy with a camera. And that brings up something else I need to complain about. Have you ever seen programs where the guy starts off about, here's why you should listen to me? Well, listen, take what anybody says with that and make your own decision whether you should listen to them or not. And secondly, they talk about what camera they have. Who cares? If you've got a, like, what gets me is like, well, I've got a Nikon, I've got a Canon, I've got a Fuji, I've got, if you've got a camera, cameras anymore are magic, absolutely magic. If you've got a cell phone, you can probably take a pretty good picture. It doesn't matter what equipment you have. Let's get beyond that and talk about what pictures we're going to take. Now, first, and this is something else that bothers me, I want to make sure that you go home with something you can use today. So I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to show you something that you can use today. And Becky, you're going to help me out with this, I think. Come right on up. Now, this is a softbox. How many of you have a, no, how many of you don't own a softbox? Well, get Amazon tonight. No, with this, you remember in my program, I said, let's make do with what we have. Don't buy anything. I've spent like a gob of money and a gob of time on YouTube going, if I had that, I could be amazing. And then I'd buy that and I still had the same sucky pictures that I'd always taken. So the thing is, let's use what we've already got. I could not bring a window in this room. I talked to tech that it just wasn't going to happen. So I brought this softbox along, and this is going to like be just like our window. Okay. And I'm going to have you stand back here for just a second. Now, what we're going to do, and I'm going to step out of your way so you can film away. It's just like a window in your house. Now, you're going to say, well, that window's up pretty high. Well, okay, if we were doing this, I'm going to have Becky stand. In fact, I'm actually going to move that up a little bit higher because Becky is a little taller than what I thought. So let me come up to about here. And let me come up. Oh, actually, that's going to be good right there. If you can't move your windows at home, because I can't move my windows, what I would do is I would have Becky sit in a chair because we want the bottom edge of the window to be right about her chin height. Now, if you've got a window, obviously, if I'm the photographer, and I'm going to block you for just a second, I can't move inside the wall. Superman's got the patent on that. I have to work in the room this way. But what we're going to do is get direct sunlight, either get like a sunny day, or if you have a north-facing window or any window that doesn't have the sun coming right in, you can do this. And that window will be just like this softbox. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is Becky's wearing glasses. How many of you portrait photographers have had trouble with glare in the glasses? Okay, we all have. Now, let me show you a tip. I've had people say, well, I can tip those glasses up. I've had some people say you can take the lenses out. Don't do that. I think you're looking for a lawsuit if you start doing that. You can tip the glasses up, or you can have them move their head. Watch this technique. Take your glasses off. See how that eliminated the glare from glasses? Absolutely perfect. And I'll tell you, you look stunning that way. Beautiful eyes. Are those blue eyes? Blue, that's from the colorblind guy. That shows you how blue those eyes actually are. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. Depending on what kind of shot you want, it's going to be where she decides to stand. Now, I want you to back all the way up against the wall. And we're going to, now, does she have good light on her there? No, it's daggone dark. Oh, side issue. How many of you worry about high ISO and noise? Stop worrying about that. The thing is, they've got that Topaz denoise AI or whatever it is. That's magic. That gets rid of all the noise. And the other thing is, you know who worries about noise? Photographers. If you show somebody a picture and they go, boy, there's a lot of noise in this image of my mom and me, that's, no one ever has said that other than another photographer. Like, no mom has gone, boy, that's my son, but look at the noise in this image. That's not going to happen. Like, you set your aperture, set your shutter speed, and spin the dial on that ISO. You get what you want. But right now, Becky is in the dark. We don't want that. Now, here's what I'm going to have you do, and I'm going to step over out of the way so that you all can see, and I'm going to be behind the camera here, too. In just a moment, I'm going to have you walk forward, and I want you to watch the light on her face. Okay? Very slowly start walking forward. Oh, right there. See how that happened? Now, here's the good news on this. If you are here, you cannot move your window, but you can move Becky or you can move you. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. Right now, first of all, I love, like, see her cheekbones? You show me somebody with good cheekbones, and you've got good cheekbones. That's not a come on, I'm married. We'll talk later. With this, look at the way, now look right at them. Look at the way the light carves that cheekbone right there, and this jawline. That is just a good look for her. Now, the thing is, I can have her move her nose to get the look that I want. I can have her move her nose a little bit further this way. And if you're taking the picture there, you're going to get broad lighting. I'm sorry, short lighting. Short lighting because we've got this. Or I can move the nose back this way and get more broad lighting. There, it's almost split lighting because even though I've got a catch light in the eye, I've kind of lost that. Okay? Let me show you something not to do. Come right up here in the middle of the window. Ugh. I've got okay light on the face, but look, I'm wasting most of my window light back here. Like, there's no sense in bringing them all the way up this way. So think about this back edge, and the other thing is, how close should they be to the window? Now, you remember the inverse square law? It's math, I stay away from it, but here's what I know. The closer I get her to that window, the greater the ratio is going to be between light and dark. For me, I like a high ratio. Now wait, this is technical talk. How many of you like a 2-to-1 ratio? See, nobody knows. Like nerd photographers would go, I only shoot with a 2-to-1 ratio. I shoot with strictly 3-to-1. If it's me, I'm like 10-to-1. I want dark shadows. How many of you have entered an image competition? One of the things they will say is, ooh, you've clipped the blacks. And I go, yes, I did. I worked hard to clip those blacks. But that's just me. My point in this is, the closer you get her to the window, the greater the difference between light and shadow is going to be. If I move her further away from the window, I can do that, but I have to have the window be a little bit taller. Otherwise, it becomes just like a split lighting situation, and you won't notice much difference at all. Now, here's the surprising part, and we're going to do two things. First, I'm going to back you up for just a second. The difference between short and broad light, and I want to talk to you about this because I'm going to show you a slide later on that really emphasizes this. There is no right or wrong. Like, you do what you want to do. For me, I like short light. I don't always shoot short light, but I like short light. Short light is if I bring her nose between the camera and the light. Like where you're sitting right now, if I bring your nose right over here, Becky, just like that, that's now short light. That means this side of her face is going to be brighter than that side. And psychologically, that will thin the face when you view the image. If we move her nose on the other side, now for you over there, you're not going to be able to see this, but for here, now move your nose back just a little bit. I'm right in your way, aren't I? How am I doing at home? Move your nose back just right there. With this, for those right here, that's broad light. That makes like the face a little bit rounder. Now, let's just ask the ladies. How many of you want a rounder face? See, exactly. That's why I'm saying, I'm not saying that you can't use broad light, but I'm saying short light tends to be maybe a smidge more flattering. Now, here's the part that I love. Becky, I'm going to have you come all the way up here in front, okay? And now I'm going to have you turn and face me. Now, if this were at home, she'd be looking right into a wall. But from where you're sitting, it looks like she's looking out the window. But here's what I want you to do. Bring your nose right here. Oh, right there. See this? Trust me over there. This looks so good. For those of you right here, see that rim lighting on that? And see, we've got just a little catch light in the eye. I love that. I love that shot. I'm going to show you one of those shots later on. Here's the next thing. If you're doing like a bride and her mom, or a daughter and a father, something like that, think about this shot with just one window. You're going to be the daughter. You've got the daughter part down. We're going to bring our nose back this way just a little. Wait, you laugh. You were a daughter. Oh, I've got shoes older than you. So we've got her nose right here. Now wait, here's the thing, and here's the trick. If you take the picture right now, there's going to be a lot of white in her eyes. The trick on this is we keep the nose right here, but we bring our eyes right there. That way you'll get the iris in there and you see that. Now, you nature photographers, don't be shooting at f/22 on this. Get down there like an f2 and put her dad back here. Now you've got him lit with the window. He's going to be short lit because he's looking at her. He's out of focus, blurred out, but looking at the daughter, that's a daggone award-winning image. And if the judges don't think so, the mom and dad will. Use window light. It's the best modifier and it's free. It came standard equipment with your house. Becky, thank you so much. You were absolutely wonderful. Now, can the people at home see me? No, just like, for the people at home, I look just like George Clooney. Actually, kind of a young George Clooney. They don't know. Let's keep it on the down low. Okay, here we go. This is window light. I'm just going to show you some examples of this. All of these pictures are lit with just window light until I tell you different. Nothing more than window light. Same thing. That was his girlfriend, actually. Waiters and waitresses, I shoot them all the time. because I'll tell you what, they've got a terrible job. They were the kind of first responders when we started coming out of the pandemic. Give them a nice tip, and then also take their picture if you get a chance. Same thing. What's great about window light, this was a huge bank of windows, and because it's so large, you could do two people even at different distances. The windows were far enough away that you didn't have that light fall off on that. Same thing there. Short side lighting. Notice that let me see if I can point. See how his nose is between the camera and the light? Short side. Oh, gosh. This was the, what do you call them, hostess at the hotel. And I said, look, if you've just got a second, let's sit down and do this. Doesn't that look like she's kind of waiting for her husband to come back from the war or something like that? I'll tell you, somebody said it looks like a war bride. And I cried over that too when I heard that. I think that it's such nice lighting and it's such a peaceful picture. Now, two things on this picture. I don't like, and this was my mistake, not hers. See how her eyes are right there in the corner? I want to bring that a little bit, have white on both sides. Now, wait, was I lucky? Look at that little thing. Isn't it nice? That was it. Like this candle wasn't lit. And you can tell because the next picture, oh, look at that. Oh, I got it really burning now. Going to town. I think her eyes are much better. Take this picture. Don't let her nose break the plane of her cheek. Okay. If you, otherwise, if it does break the plane, it tends to make it look really big. And I'm sensitive about that. This is flat lighting. I didn't demonstrate that on here, but flat lighting is if you stand with your back to the window and put somebody right there in front. Flat lighting is safe. I'm an old guy. It flattens out my wrinkles, but a lot of people like flat lighting and it's very nice. It's dull. It's just dull. It offers no dimension to the face. It's safe. Yearbook photos. You ever seen like all the mug shots? Perfect lighting. Nobody looks at the mug shots because they're dull. So again, I just had to do this. I was walking by. This was a bar in Cincinnati, and this dog was right up there on the bar. And I thought, I got to take that picture. But I was standing right in the door. You can see that that's where all the light's coming from. And I'll tell you, probably an alcoholic dog. This was taken with a softbox. This was not window light. But you remember when we moved Becky over here in front? Look at this right here. Oh, you've got the light in back. If you're taking this with a softbox, it's just like the window. Put the softbox behind the person and let the light leak around. If you get this, notice her eye is moved just a little bit to the left, so you get that iris in there. I love those pictures. And look at the way the light carves that cheekbone out. Now, this is natural light. All this was in like this big open industrial thing. The light is coming from back there, and all we did, and here's another tip, take the shoulders. With women, this works great. With guys, we want to be square onto the camera. That way we've got big, broad shoulders. Ladies, how many of you want big, broad shoulders? See, there's a pattern here. With women, if the light is here, turn the shoulders away and the nose back toward. That's what happened here. Whoops, whoop, whoop. He's out of control. Okay, this is what happened here. Notice how the light rakes across here and it gives dimension. You can see kind of the muscle in her arm, her décolleté. See, I know a few French terms too, décolleté. Write that down. Okay, just a little bit of light back here because we did have some light coming through from window back there. This kind of separates her from the background. But again, notice the window light here, nose toward the light, shoulders away. I love this picture except for this is the same thing. All the light's coming from out here. It would have been better to have her shoulders even a little bit further away. And look at this rod right here. See that rod that runs through her head? Try not to have linear things going through the person's head or through their neck. Like if you have the horizon line, anything that's a rod or a beam, try to keep that out of there. With this, notice again that short side lighting. I just love that. Okay. You all know the rules. Now, there are rules in photography. Can anybody name a rule for me? Rule of thirds. Everybody knows the rule of thirds. Anybody else think of another rule? What's that? Fill the frame is another rule. Now, wait, there's a gazillion rules, and we'll run out of time if I'm not careful. Recognize these, fill the frame, don't cut off limbs, leading like if you're going to crop here, don't crop like at the wrist or at the elbow, don't crop at the knees, like crop in between. So do that. Leading lines, you can use those. The brightest I got to complain about this. The brightest object, psychologists have determined that when we look at a photo, we will look at the brightest thing in the image. That's where our eyes tend to go to. And the area of highest contrast. Have you heard that? Now, if you've entered image competition, have you heard a judge say, my eye is drawn to this spot over here? Control your daggone eyes. They're your eyes. Control them. Take charge. And you know why I think that's false? I don't know this from personal experience, but let's say that you have a group of guys that goes out to, I don't know, say a gentleman's club. Has any guy ever said, you know, the strippers are nice, but my eye keeps being drawn to that little silver ball over there? No, that's never happened in the history of man. Now, the thing is, you can tone things down, but I do object to that just a little bit. Sharp focus, watch the background. We all know the rules. Now, are those rules good? Now, photography rules help us get going. I want you to think about when you first got your camera. When you got your camera, you didn't know. It was like, quick, I want to take a picture. Pictures were not very good. And you gradually learned the rules. Now, where did the rules come from? Paintings. We looked at the paintings and what was good in paintings, and we came up with these general rules, and those rules helped us. They got us started. They got us on the right path. But if you break the rule, if you don't use the rule of thirds, do the photo police come out and drag you off kicking and screaming? No. There are times that it's okay to break the rules if you know why you're breaking the rules. You know, they always say in a picture, you want to give the person like room to look. Or what? Sometimes you can create tension by actually having them look back the other way. If you're going to break the rules, break them with intent, with an actual reason for doing that. Don't do it willy-nilly. But the other thing is, don't say, oh, I can't do this because it's one of the rules. Look, it comes down to this. Who bought your camera? Anybody in here not buy their own camera? Wait, he didn't buy his own camera? Yeah, bless your heart. Keep her. Keep her. In fact, I'm kind of in the market for another camera. Just saying, just saying. The thing is this, if you bought your camera, at the end of the day, there's only one person that has to be happy. If you're happy, the rules go out the window. And I will just tell you this. I hope, let me go off script for it. This is where Patty would get panicky. Patty's my wife. Let me just say this. Why did you buy your camera originally? Why did you get it? I can't draw. That's why I got it. If I could draw, I'd probably been like painting or sketching. I do like stick figures. But you got your camera because you loved it. You wanted to take pictures and create something. And you know, the thing is, if you never win a competition, but your heart sings when you took that picture, then you're ahead of the game. If you're happy at the end of the day, man, you're better than most people in the world. Be happy with what you've got. You've got like a tool of technology that's nothing short of magic. Get out there and enjoy that. Okay, back on script. Okay. Now, I'm just going to tell you this. Story time. It comes to rules, and we all have rules, don't we? Now, I'm going to tell you about rules. I grew up northeast of Cincinnati on a little farm, and we moved to East Tennessee. Mom was from Tennessee. We used to go down and visit all the time, and I thought, oh, I'm going to move to East Tennessee. So Mom was still up in Ohio, but Patty and I moved to East Tennessee. And when we got there, we had this little cabin. And one day, Patty said, what do you think about the kitchen cabinets? And I thought, do we have kitchen cabinets? That's one of those things I didn't really notice. Well, we got new kitchen cabinets. And then one day, Patty said, I think we should put an addition onto the house. Now, I thought, addition on the house, man, that's going to be a lot of money. I'm a school teacher, and I don't know, like an addition on the house sounds pretty expensive. But as a husband, I knew what my response was. Why, honey, that's what I was thinking. So we got an addition to put on the house. That was our task. And what we did was we contacted like this little architect, and he had this business where he did additions. And he came out and he drew us up some plans, and it looked amazing. Looked expensive, but it looked amazing. And I said to Marty, was his name, I said, now, Marty, are you going to get the building permit? And he goes, oh, Lord, you don't want to get building permits. That's nothing but paperwork and forms and inspections. No, we don't want to do that. And I thought, ooh, boy, that doesn't sound very good. So I thought, well, we'll kind of see how things go here. So Marty drew up the plans and all, and pretty soon Joe came out. Joe is head of the work group there. And I said, now, Joe, I talked with Marty, and I know we're getting ready to start this job. Should you get the work permit, or like the building permit, or should I get the building permit? And Joe goes, oh, Lord, oh, no. You don't want to get any building permits. No, that's paperwork and forms and inspections. No, you don't want to do that. And I thought, oh, well, that doesn't sound very good to me. And so we got the addition kind of almost done. And I thought, I better go down to Sevierville, which is our county seat, and talk with the folks down there just to make sure we're on the same page. So I went down, and the little lady that worked in the office there, and I said, look, we're putting an addition onto the house, and I thought I'd better come down and get kind of a building permit. And she said, now, is it a new structure, or is it just an addition? And I said, it's an addition, but I thought that I better get that building permit. And she goes, oh, Lord, you don't want to get a building permit. That's paperwork and forms and inspections. And so I thought, I guess that's the way we do things here. Are we recording this? For those recording this, we got the paperwork and the inspections and all the forms. We got those. Okay, there we go. So when it comes to rules, I'm an East Tennessee guy. You can have all the rules you want, but it's my camera. And if it's my camera, I'm going to kind of do what I want. This is a sample page from a yearbook. How many of you own your yearbooks from high school? You all do, and they were expensive. You paid a lot of money for your yearbooks. Did you pay money for your yearbooks because of the high quality images you got? Look at this. There's not one award. Look, she's cut off. That's the happiest girl in town. Look, this guy, it's crooked. Look at that. My Lord, she's in jail. Like, if you look, there's not an award-winning picture there, but you know what there is there? People get those and go, oh, that's Tony. Let me tell you about Tony. Those were story starters. The reason that you had a yearbook was story starters. You did not go to the mugshot page that were perfectly exposed or anything else. No, you went right to this. Like, I was in choir. I was the one who the lady told me, you just mouth the words, don't sing. The thing is, yearbooks are popular because every picture is a story. And that's what you can do with your camera too. How many PPA members are there? Okay, let me just tell you this. If you're not in PPA, how many of you have insurance on your cameras and the camera equipment? If you don't, you've lost your minds. Like, I paid a ludicrously obscene amount of money for my camera equipment. And I called up my insurance agency and I said, I'd like to insure these. And they quoted me a price. And I said, did you give me the NASA budget for a year, or are you giving me an insurance quote? It was obscene. Somebody help me out here. How much is PPA? Is it 300? Okay, so I was going to say, the thing is, insurance, you have to check a little box. Insurance comes with it. I can't buy insurance for less than that. You get all the other benefits, but I will tell you, for the insurance alone, I get that. But here's what they have. PPA has this for competition. These are all the rules. Let me complain again. The one that gets me, presentation, that's like, did you put a border around your picture? Shut up. Did I put a border? Buy your own border. like border it up. I'm not going to put a border around the picture. But here's the thing. When they go into competition, with competition, they give you numbers, like right over here. Now, see this down here? Remember reading groups when you were in school? Yeah, see, like you're in the 3rd grade and there's the bluebird group over here. Bluebirds are here and the cardinals are here. And see, I was over here with the buzzards. And I'll just say, and I'll just tell you this. The reading group, the bluebird group is like, I'm in the bluebirds. And they were all there until we got out on the playground. And I was like, let me show you a little something, bluebirds. I'll meet you over behind the stairs and I'll show you what the vultures do. The thing is this. When you're in competition, judges will sit there and they have, I think, like 5 judges, and they'll kind of do this and they come up and they'll go 84. 84 doesn't do me any good. Now, if you're in there, see, you've merited, you're like, all right, 84, I've merited. If you get like this, oh, like 100, exceptional. But if you're down here, like 79, oh, you just missed it. You think, oh, I was so close. Maybe if I change it, I can get the judges to go with there. Or if you're down here, 74, you're in the vulture group. If you're down there, you're cussing the judge. They must be blind. They don't know what they're doing. I don't go much for this, but I'm going to put a caveat there. So am I saying don't enter an image competition? No, I'm not saying that at all. But let me ask you a question. Why are you entering image competition? If you're going to tell me I'm entering image competition to win what? You got an 84? Get t-shirts, 84. I will tell you this. If somebody tells me your image is an 84, what do I go home with? Well, I got an 84. What's that mean? The value of image competition, if you go into it with the idea of, I want to get better. I've got this image and I think it's okay, but I need some, like a 3rd set of eyes to come in and help me see things that maybe I'm not seeing. Because I get emotionally attached to my images. I don't know about you, but my images are like my kids. And so I don't enter image competition because you talk about my kids, I'm back with the vultures meeting you out by the stairs. The thing is, though, I will go to somebody and say, somebody I respect, and say, tell me about this. I'm having problems. What am I not seeing here? What do I need to do? Judges will sometimes, like if somebody rates it high and somebody rates it low, they will have a discussion. That is golden. I love to hear image competition just to hear that, to where I hear people talk about, well, here's what I saw, and then, oh, here's what I saw over here. If you go into image competition because, like, you want to get better and you think I'm going to use this and I'm going to steal ideas from others, you're golden. You are on the right page. If you're going in to win, hey, go out and buy you a pack of Monopoly money and be a millionaire. That 84, when you're dead and gone, nobody's going to say, yeah, my grandfather was an 84. Need I say more? Oh. Here's why I say this. I'm going to show you some art here real fast. Now, there's 5 judges on the panel. Let's say that instead of doing photographs, we were doing art. There's abstract art, cubism, expressionism, impressionism, photorealism. That's a painting. That's not a photograph. I'm right in your way. How am I doing? Photorealism, surrealism. Can you pick out a rule of thirds in there? Just asking for a friend. My question is this. If you've got Salvador Dali and he's judging Picasso's work, is Picasso going to get a fair shake? He's going to be going, look, you got 2 eyes on one side of the head. Like, what are you drinking before you did this? I think if you go into it thinking that 84 means something, it doesn't. There are 5 judges that are saying, in my opinion. Now, they've been trained and they're supposed to be objective, but I will just tell you this. You got a picture of your daughter? They're not going to know your daughter. They're not going to be knowing that you set up with your daughter when she was sick. They're not going to know that your daughter built one of those like little things out of popsicle sticks and glitter and glue and gave it to you. It was the best thing that she could do. And so that you still have that in your dresser drawer. They don't know that. But you know that. Is that picture better than an 84? That's better than 184. Now, I'm going to show you. Here comes the nudity. Oh, you folks. Oh, the folks at home can see it too. You sickos, I'm going to show it to you now. Okay, here we go. This, yeah. See, if you're down Naples Beach, that's modest. That's what the nuns are wearing down there. Now, this has got like this thing. First of all, he took this picture, developed it, painted this on. Let me see. Painted that on, then took a picture of that. Would this merit today? Oh, daggone no. There's no frame on it, no presentation. Here's the thing. This thing right here sold for $12.4 million. I wouldn't go across the street. I wouldn't pick it up if I saw it on the ground. The thing is, somebody valued that. Somebody gave that more than an 84. The thing is, if you go into image competition, go into it to learn. Don't go into it to win. Okay. I can't say this enough. You all are sitting with great photographers. Great photographers here. Don't look at them and say, why aren't I them? They got a head start on you. They've been them for a long time. You're you. Be you. Be what you want to be. Now, that's not to say that I won't look at your picture and think, oh, I'm going to use that. How many of you have been on a photo walk? Okay, on photo walks, here's what I hate. They've got the model here, and Pete Gazelle lines up. It's like, click, 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 click. Got the lighting great, click, click, click. Pete Gazelle is there. And then Joe Turd comes up and goes, click, 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 click. Because the lighting was great. He did the same thing that Pete Gazelle did. Well, daggone. I am not going to take that picture for two reasons. One, I haven't learned anything by taking that. And two, I'm afraid Pete Gazelle will do a better job than me, and I can't live with that. I've got too fragile of an ego. The thing is, if I see Pete Gazelle take this, I will say, how did he set his light? Where did he move to get the lighting that he wanted? What did he tell the model to do? I will store that away and I will steal that idea at the very next location. And I'll try to be Pete Gazelle. So I will use what I learned from him in my photograph. I don't want to be Gazelle, but I'll steal his techniques. I will steal how he interacts with the model. Here's wait, side issue. I've seen people on photo walks do this. If I'm taking a picture right here, they'll go, click. How do you feel about that? What does mean? If you're a photographer or an airplane pilot, you have to be careful what you say. Like if you're in a plane and the guy goes, well, we're going to land here in Atlanta. God, this is going to be tough. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, like, imagine a pilot, and you as photographers do this. Well, I'm not very good at this, but I thought we'll try it. If your airplane pilot says, yeah, we're getting ready to land in Atlanta, landing has always been tough for me. No, let the co-pilot go. He's good at this. Like, here's the thing. If you're taking pictures, snap a picture, and let's say it's a train wreck, and I've had train wrecks, go, oh, you're doing, that's a great job. I think the light's going to be better over here. The other thing, have you seen people shoot with a monitor so the model can see that? I'm never doing that because I have disasters on occasion. And I don't want the model to think it's her fault. So the thing is, if I'm taking a picture and it's terrible, awful, it's like, oh, yeah. Well, we're gonna move over there. And I try to keep the tears from rolling down my cheeks as I do that. But the thing is, don't put the model at ease. You know how tough it is when you get your picture taken? And the thing is, with that, especially if you get a good image, show the model right away. Look at this. Look how well you're doing. With that, boost that up. Be like an airplane pilot and be positive. Okay, that's kind of what we hear. And this is so important. You be you. I'm going to show you what I do. I have had people ask me to take photos for them. And I'm like, you sure? You sure about this? The one picture I've shown for the Jacksonville group, I showed this years. This is one of my old pictures. I had a lady one time, musician, and I said, boy, I'd like to take some pictures for you. Now, I am a photo poor because I give my pictures away. I am not in competition with you because if somebody says I want senior pictures, I'd say so-and-so shoots senior pictures. I might even hire you to go with me, and I'll show you an example of that in just a little bit. But the thing is, if somebody asks me something, I'll tell them up front, because I'm not going to take pictures they want. I'm going to take pictures I want because I bought my camera. I will try to get them something they can use. But I had this musician say, oh, yeah, I'd be fine if you took some pictures of me, but I'm pregnant right now. Wouldn't it be fun to do some maternity pictures? And I said, yes. And by yes, I meant no. No, that would not be fun. I don't want to do maternity pictures. And here's the thing. I won't show this image, but you know how sometimes the women's navel goes like the other way? It's like, cover that up. Cover that. Somebody might see that. But I mean, she liked it. After I got like recovered from passing out, it went pretty smoothly. But what I did was, she said, "We'll do these maternity shoot." I got another lady that did maternity, and then I shot the pictures I wanted to shoot because the maternity lady was going to do the conventional ones. For example, that's what I shot. You know, like somebody said, "Wow, I'm going to follow you home." I hope that was a good wow as opposed to, "Oh my God, wow." Okay. With this, that's what I'm going to shoot. I had a young lady, it was a dancer. She got married to, in fact, Jennifer and Carlito. They made the best couple. You talk about people that were just so much in love. They were a little bit more mature. They weren't in their 20s, more in their 30s. But she said, I was in the wedding party. That's how blessed I was. I was in the wedding party. And she goes, "I want you to take pictures." And I'm like, "I can't take, I'm in the wedding party." It's like, click, click. What am I going to do? Selfies? I can't do that. I said, you don't want my pictures anyway. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I've got a wedding photographer, but I want you to take a picture for me." Oh, I'm sorry. This is a quinceañera. For those that shoot quinceañeras, this is not a typical quinceañera shot. But again, that's what I'm going to shoot. I took people along that shoot quinceañeras, and we did that. This was not actually at the quinceañera because I was out of town. She dressed back up again. If you have not done a quinceañera, wow. Wow. I have never seen anything like it. But again, you see the way that I'm going to shoot things. This is the wedding. Now, is that a typical bride photo? If you don't think that is, that's the one I love right there. Now, I delivered those. I gave her 4 pictures. These are 2 of them. And I said, "You may not like those." And she goes, "That's exactly what I wanted." She said, "I've got the other wedding photos, but this is exactly what I wanted." This is the picture she has up in her house. There's no bigger flattery for a photographer than when somebody displays your work up on the wall. Senior photo. I'm going to show you 3 pictures. One of these girls said, "Hey, I'm getting senior photos." And she talked to her dad and said, "I want old Tennessee to take my pictures." And I thought, no, you don't. Because your grandma's going to see these and she'll hunt me down. See, I know how grandmas work and they're tough. And I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire a senior photographer because I've been very close to this family for a while, but I hired a senior photographer because I knew that she would get the pictures that grandma was going to like, that the kids at school were going to like, and that let me do what I like. Senior photos. Senior photos. Wait, I have to tell you this. This is not a railroad track. It looks like a railroad track. This is a scrap yard because you're not supposed to be on the railroad track things. You get arrested for. Not that I know from personal experience. Kids. People will say, "Well, I'd like pictures of my son or my daughter." I don't do kids. I don't like doing little kids. In fact, this is my niece. Her name is Fallon. I call her Falcoon because that's just the kind of guy I am. And she said, "Will you take a picture of me?" And I said, "No." No, because you do what all little kids do, where they do this. As soon as they see the camera, they do. I would choke the life out of somebody if they did that. There's no way. I hate that little fake smile. And so I said, no, I'm not gonna. She goes, I won't smile. I said, oh yeah, you will. Yeah, you're a smiler. I know. I know it's coming. She goes, no, I won't. No, I won't. My wife held the light and it was just out of, that is my hat. This is, like I talked about airline pilots. This lady's daughter, this is the daughter. Her mom is an airline pilot that lives in Knoxville, flies for American Airlines. And I've got 3 pictures of her. Now I want you to look at this. She doesn't smile. That's why I jumped right in to do this. Her name is Sunny, and she's tough cookie. Let me just tell you this. I like her though. She's got some spunk to her. This and this. Now, here's what I want you to look at. You remember we talked about short, I keep right in front of you. We talked about short side and broad side lighting. That's short side and that's broad side. Look how round her face looks there compared to that. That short side lighting, even though it doesn't really do anything with your face, it gives the illusion that the face is thinner. I hate when people read stuff to you. So I'm going to let you read this down here. And I think we're all guilty of this. Read that, and then I'll talk about the top part. Alex Kilby has his own YouTube channel. You should watch it. It's more about the philosophy of photography. As photographers, we all talk about what we're going to photograph and how we're going to do it. What's your f-stop? What's your shutter speed? What's your ISO? How did you pose the model? We don't talk about why. I want you to think about, why do you take the pictures you do? Whether you're landscape, car photographer, photojournalist, whatever you shoot, not how do you do it or what you do, but why do you do it? You don't have to answer this out loud. This is just like for you to think about. Why do you take the shots that you take? For me, I fall in love with every shot that I take that turns out. The disasters, I don't fall in love with those. There are times that I've captured an image, and you know, that instant you take the picture, you can see it for just that second. There are times that I've wept right there. I'm so touched by it because of the story behind it, the tenderness that's there. You see a mother and a son, or a family together, or an athlete that's just lost in a competition, or an athlete that's won in a competition. Somebody that got an 84 in their merit image. Whatever it is, think about, why do you take the pictures that you take? And that'll tell you what you like about your pictures. Okay, we're going to go through a couple of the rules. How many folks in here would agree that you should get it right in camera? Okay, wait, let me do this. Who says, nah, I don't need it right in camera? Okay, nobody. See, the thing is, right is such a nebulous term, because what's right for you is not what's right for you. It's not what's right for me. You've seen my pictures. Like, I always show the back of the camera and they're going, oh gosh, that's underexposed. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's dark. Here's what I want you to see. When you, side issue? I'm digressing again. Do you know the least important part of when you take a picture is when you press the shutter? Oh, who is that Bresson that said what is it? Not the critical moment. What is it called? Like the moment of high action. Was it the critical moment, or what is it? Like the moment of. I think the least important thing you do is press the shutter. I think it's more important when you're setting up the light, when you're getting your subject the way you want, even if it's a candid picture. Is the light good? Is my subject good? Is my composition good? After I get everything right for the way I want it, then I press the shutter and that's it. Then I'm going to process it after that. That shutter press, that's just a step along the way. I don't think that's the most important thing. Okay, back on topic. Get it right in camera. Look how yellow that is. You know why that's yellow? Look at this. That's color balance, right? I'm the colorblind guy. My wife wasn't there to help me out, but I was okay because I was going to go black and white anyway. And let me just tell you, even from the colorblind guy, the color is perfect on this. Okay, here's the thing. How did I get it right in camera? Because there's the shot that I took. Oh, who said, ooh? Yes, you could be in my class every day. I like people that react like that. This is the shot that I took, but that's not right in camera because I thought I'm not artistic enough to get that back to what I want. So what I did was I knew that I was going to use this light as motivated light. And that means I wanted you to think that that light was what was lighting her. So what I did was I put a softbox right here. I went up to F8. I got a little like a few qualms on that, but I put this here. Then I took this shot because I was going to have to paint this area out because the softbox was there. Now, anymore, you can use that with AI. Anybody using AI on the Photoshop? It's magic. It's daggone. Now, it's feast or famine. It works great or it's terrible. But with this, I just took 2 pictures so that I could paint this out. And then after we took this, that was right for me. I'm not saying this is right for you, but this was right for me with what I had envisioned and what I wanted to do for the picture. And that's what I wound up with. So when you say get it right in camera, know what your final image is going to be so that you know, here's how I have to expose it so I can get to what I want to get to. Okay. Our job is to, any photojournalists? Oh, one? Just one? Let's talk bad about them since they're not. No. Photojournalists are so important. And the reason photojournalists can't manipulate the image, you can make things dramatically different by manipulating. You saw just like the previous picture. By changing that, I changed the whole thing around on that. Now, with this, I will say this, as a photojournalist, you can crop any way you want. And cropping can make a very big difference in the story. But most of us, many of us, some of us, okay, a few of us might say, our job is to document reality. If you go to Disneyland, Disney World, if you go there and it's with the family, you're going to document, here's our picture. At the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, you know the most common picture that's taken is the sign right there when you go in. It says, welcome to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. They unload the family, stand in front of the sign and go click. And it's like, really? There's waterfalls and mountains and bears, but you've got that sign. And what that's good for is when you go to court, you can go, yes, Your Honor, at the park. Now, that's documenting reality. Anybody do real estate photography? Oh, God, you have built a throne of gold in heaven because it's hard. It's hard. I have seen real estate shots with toilets with stuff like on the back, like cans and things. You have to move furniture around because it's a wide angle lens. This is not reality. This is fake. Now, you're going to say, oh, no, Tennessee, because you can't change things when you're like advertising a cabin. I'm from East Tennessee. Do you think there was really a fire in the fireplace? Do you think this was really on the TV? And here's the big one. Do you think your camera could capture this and this outside? Oh, no. As much as you spent for your camera, that's not happening. This is post-processing. Again, probably HDR. They used flash in the inside because look how bright everything is. I'll just tell you, no, this is not documenting reality. Okay. Painters put things in pictures. They start with a blank slate and they put things in. We as photographers take things out. We crop to get rid of things. We use AI to cover up things. With this, Carl Kaler said this, if there's something in your picture that's not helping you, it's hurting you. Anything that's extra, get rid of. For example, this right here, if you look at this shot, and this was just this last week. We did a photo walk. See this right up here? That's not so good. There's my softbox right up here. Oh, this chair back in here. So with that, we got rid of that. Now, is that reality? Well, I guess I could have taken my pocket knife and cut that down. The people at the restaurant might have whipped me because I look like a fun guy to punch. The softbox, I could have moved it, but I liked it nice and close. I liked the light on her. This chair wasn't doing me any good, so I got rid of it. And I'll just tell you this and this was that AI, and it was like, click, gone. I will tell you, if you're not, wait, side issue. How many of you are afraid of AI? Like, nobody, liars. There are some of you back there thinking, AI is going to take my job. No, it's not, because your is never going to take a picture of your nephew's graduation. It's never going to happen. And you know, the thing is, say, I don't remember that. AI is never going to replace you because you are the one that's going to create the image. I hope you're using AI because, again, to help get your picture better, but it's not going to replace your nephew at graduation. Don't worry about AI. Oh, black and white. See, the color's perfect again. This is a volleyball player at Lely High School. Now, the thing is, that's been retouched. Now, you're going to say, well, you didn't do a very good job retouching because she's got acne there. What? Do you think I should take that off? Well, is she going to know if, like, suddenly in this game she didn't have acne and she did the game before? Our job is not to fix anybody. We don't fix people. We help people to look the best that they can look. We want them to look natural. If you take a picture of me right now, I'm going to have wrinkles and pores and this big knot on my nose and everything else. If you take that picture and just say, click, here it is, and we don't do any post-processing, that is not me because I don't look like that. You're going to say, sure you do, Tennessee. That camera recorded you as the camera saw you. Yes, as the camera saw me, not as you saw me. Because with you, I'm moving around. Have you noticed that? I keep standing in front of you, but I'm moving around. When I move, you don't notice this knot on my nose a whole lot. At least you better not be. So the thing is, when we retouch, we make people look like we see them every day. Now, I'm going to show you something terrible and awful. That's the actual picture. Now, this came up. She's not going to have that every day, so I'm going to get rid of that. This acne here, I'm going to mitigate it because this is a still image. When she's moving, you can tell she has, uh-oh, he throws things. Let me put this back on. Oh, very nice. With this, when she's moving, you notice the acne, but not to that degree. So we're going to get rid of this because that's going in the yearbook and she's not going to have that forever. So we go back to that. Now, side issue. Notice the corners. Wait a second. See how I darken the corners? Here's a rule of thumb, rules. If you're going to use vignettes, you're supposed to go to where you just barely see the vignette and then you back it up. My rule of thumb is I go to I just see the vignette and then I mash it on over there. I like that. I like that old time look of old time lenses that have the vignettes. So you're going to notice I wear those corners out. I make those pixels scream. Okay. So that's what we have. That's what we use for retouching. I'm going to tell you a terrible story. A terrible story. Because there's a double-edged sword to this. There is a lady that's a singer and performer, and she has a duo with a gentleman. In fact, Carlito, that married Jennifer. This is not husband and wife you're going to see. They're just the singer and player. And she is stunning. Absolutely stunning. That's them, AI background. because this was shot in her family room. I shot these pictures for them. And there was one pose that I'm not going to show here that I loved the shot. The facial expressions, the interaction of the two was perfect, but her pose was not. Now, that was not her fault. That was my fault. See, because I can see what the camera is going to see. And so I'm taking pictures. And when I captured that image, I was focused on the faces. And I thought, boy, this is going to be great. I took 4 of those images with that, and all 4, the poses were bad. But the one picture of her and Carlito, it was so good. And I thought, I hate to throw this picture away because the pose is bad. I just wish I could do something. And I had a professor that I contacted, and I said, I want you to look at this picture, this and that. And she goes, oh, you can warp that and you can make her pose look all right. You can kind of get that S curve. And I did that. And it turned out, I thought, great. I did several versions of it, and I picked the one that I liked. And I even had my wife look at it, and she goes, oh, that's a great image. And I sent the images off. And a few days later, Maritza said, well, I love the images, but the one where you fixed my figure, you warped the background too. And I was wondering if you could correct the background. We don't fix people. We're not in the business of fixing people. And for someone to feel that they've been fixed, that's the most cutting thing you can do to someone. I got in my car and I drove to Maritza's house. I told her what I had done and that it was not to fix her. Now you're going to say, oh, look, she doesn't need fixing. There's not a woman in the world, I don't care how good looking, how perfect they are, there's not a woman in the world that thinks they're good enough. They look for flaws all the time. And if we give them a reason to find a flaw, we have cut them worse than anything else you could do. Fix Maritza? Jesus did a pretty good job on his own. By my inattention to detail, she'll always remember that. No matter how much I try to reassure her, she will always remember I had to be fixed. Learn from my mistake. Don't ever fix anybody. Don't fix anyone. Let them be beautiful on their own. Oh, here we go. Let me ask the question another way. How many people think focus is way overrated? See, it's funny when we ask it that way. Now, how many nature photographers have a tripod? Sure you do. You got that tripod because you want that lockdown and focus. I'm the laziest man in the world. I'm not carrying a tripod. There's no way. I'll increase shutter speed and I'll handhold it. And I've had people tell me there's nothing like a tripod. It's rock solid and you get that focus. Well, here we go. Let's talk about focus being overrated. I'm part of that 52 frames thing, and it's a challenge each week. And one of the things they did was intentional camera movement. And I don't have a tripod, so I thought, well, how am I going to do this? So what I did was, this is my sister-in-law. I had her stand out. We were actually traveling, the whole family, and we had her stand out by this gate. And I was inside with my hand against the like sliding glass door. And what I did was I had a 2-second exposure, which means I had to go up to like F11. And I was wobbly the whole time I was doing it. But I did this and with like the lowest ISO I could get, and I did like a 2-second exposure. And what I did was I let it sit there, and then the last like half second, I tried to just move it to get that swirl effect. Now, would you believe I did that the first time? No, no, it took me a bunch of times and a bunch of cussing because you had to keep moving around to get her head right in the center. And when I finally got it in the center, you're going to say, you know, that's pretty daggone crisp for a 2-second exposure. Now, keep in mind, I was against the glass, so it was there, but I kind of burned the image in and then spun that. And I used Topaz Sharpen on her face afterwards to kind of bring that back in. But I got this swirl. Now, is it an award-winning picture? It's no 84, I'll tell you that much. But I got the challenge done. But here's the thing. If you get a chance, Jay Buchanan is part of our group there in Naples. I'm sorry, Fort Myers. And he shoots in his backyard. And it's that intentional camera movement. I'm going to show you 3 images. These are all in his backyard. That he sells these to like hotels and things. He did a book on these. There are things that look like seascapes and all this, all in his backyard, all with intentional camera movement. Oh, it's tough to see, but you can kind of, this is a little washed out on here. See the little sailboat? I don't know how he got that. This was in his backyard too. All of these things in his backyard, intentional camera movement. If you get a chance, go on his website. He does a bunch of different things, but he does a book of these. Gorgeous. One more gorgeous than the next. All of them in his backyard. Now you're going to say, well, Tennessee. Yeah, sure. You're fine. You're shooting models all the time. Yeah, I am. And I get quick story. I digress again. Here's the difference between shooting like family members and models. We go in this workshop last week, and we have a professional model at one of the stations. And we're up in these trees, and there's this tree with like a V there. And I put the model right there, and I said, now let me get my camera settings right. And I said, my camera settings are right. I'd like you to. And as soon as I said, I'd like you to, she goes. And I'm like, do that. And it's nice. If you have a model, models will do the work. You just go click, 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 click. And once you get the light set, you're golden. That's the advantage to models. Now, you're going to say, well, yeah, you've got these beautiful people. As an example, she gets up in the morning, looks in the mirror and goes, ta-da! Like, what are you going to do? Daggone, she looks absolutely fantastic. Side issue, I got to just mention this. I can only cross my arms one way. I can do this. If you say cross them the other way, I can't. That's just beyond my skill set. But if you're having somebody cross their arms, see how her fingers are there? If that was the other way, it just looks like 4 little dots coming out there. Always have the fingers on the other side. If you're photographing me, you're going to have to move because I can't switch hands. But if you look at this, the lighting, I pressed a button. She did like all the heavy lifting. But don't think beautiful. Think interesting. If I'm out with my camera and I'm like, oh God, there's somebody with a hat. I'm a hat guy. If I see somebody with a hat, almost always like, hey, can I take a quick picture? And I kind of explain, here's what I do. That mustaches and beards. Ladies, I mentioned several of this to you on the way in. Ladies with white hair, oh, that's my weakness. Does my wife have to know this? Okay. But I was going to say, for me, that's one of those things I would love to take a picture because I find that just so interesting. This lady right here, quick story. We do this, and this is a great activity. We're in Knoxville, and there's 5 photographers. Each photographer brings a model. And what you do is you shoot your model for 25 minutes, then you rotate. You shoot the next model for 25 minutes, and you rotate. One of the guys said, look, I'm bringing my niece. And somebody else says, okay. One of the ladies said, I'm bringing my sister-in-law. And one of the guys says, I'm bringing a senior. So I'm like, okay. So Doug told me that he was bringing the senior, and we're there waiting. And this lady shows up, and she said, I'm here for the photo shoot. And I was like, I don't think it's with us. Like, who are you looking for? And she goes, Doug. And I was like, oh, you are with us. When he said senior, I thought graduating senior as opposed to senior citizen. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I could have shot her all evening. Some people that are 40 are old. Other people that are 90 are as young as they can be. Her name was Joy, and I will tell you this. I had the best time with her. She got such a kick out that we got the reflection there. Every time we'd go by a window, she'd go, here's another window. You want to do another reflection? Look at that. A natural smile. That is something, people like that are interesting. And she had such wonderful stories. I'll tell you, those are the kind of pictures that I absolutely love. Oh, Noel. I don't know how old Noel is. He had the best stories. You could not have a short conversation with Noel because he would even grab me like, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I love the beard and all, but I'll just tell you, this is just a candid shot. I didn't pose him or anything. He was just talking to us. This was actually at a restaurant, just the beard there, natural light coming in from the window. Look at that beard. Look at that. This guy, I was actually taking pictures of. He was at a college and he had his hair in a bun. And every time I saw him, he had this little man bun thing. And I was packing up and he goes, you want me to take one with my hair down? And I was like, I've never seen your hair. Look at that. If I was him, I'd be, well, you can tell, I'd be doing that all the time. I'd be leading with that. But I'll tell you, single light setup in his workshop there. How do you not take that picture? This is just on my cell phone. I don't know who gets goggles for their dog, but I love that. Think interesting. It doesn't have to be beautiful, just interesting. Oh, yes, there is. Every presentation I've been to, people have said, look at me, I'm amazing. And they show you amazing pictures. And I sit in the audience and I think, I suck. I get a good picture every now and then, the same way a blind squirrel gets an acorn every now and then. But most of mine are daggone train wrecks. And I throw those away and I try to hang on to those gold nuggets. Let me show you a disaster. I'm at home in the mountains. I get a call on my landline. The cell phone doesn't work. And they said, Tennessee, we got this wedding couple. It's actually a vow renewal because they had gotten married by a justice of the peace and they never had a wedding. And she always felt bad about that. So she wanted to come back and do a vow renewal. And we've got a guy to do the vow renewal, but the photographer hasn't shown up. Now, let me just tell you two things on that. One, if you're a photographer, show up. Because when you don't show up, you're not just you, you're all of us. Because then it's like, oh, photographers, they don't show up. If you're a photographer and you're out shooting, you're all of us. Every single one of us, because that's what they know. Oh, you're a photographer. So I said, look, I don't do weddings. Maybe we can call somebody else. And they said, you're close. I've tried everybody else. I thought, oh, thanks. I'm last on the list. We've tried everybody else. You just come down and shoot this. And I was like, oh, okay. Because everybody needs to have that special day. And you know, if this is a vow renewal, it doesn't matter. She got to wear white. And it was a special day. Does that look like the happiest day of her life? See, I was documenting the happiest day of their lives. Look, that's are you done taking pictures yet? The happiest day of her life. The happiest day, just remember that. Look, I got desperate. I thought the hands can't grimace. Let's do this. Now wait, we're laughing now. I cried behind the camera because I was seeing this. I had tears rolling down my face because I thought, I'm documenting this. People will see this. This is one of those where I wanted to say, when you get your pictures, tell them Boo Ray Perry took these. Yeah. Happiest day of her life. The happiest day of her life. Done this for an hour. Exactly. That's what I thought. An hour. And I had nothing. I had nothing. And I got up on top of a picnic table for two reasons. I thought, let me try shooting down. And I tried this and that. And I thought, I'm on top of this table. I'll just myself head first off and end it all. That way, pictures won't be processed. They'll never know how bad they were. And I told them, like I was devastated. And I said, look, it's a wrap. Let's just go home. And when I said that, she turned and looked at him. That's why you take pictures. Those others, I hope they throw away. But that's the one I wanted to show their kids. That's love. And anytime you see love, you take a picture. Nature photographers, no tripod on this. Have you ever taken a picture in that cemetery? If you walk around, look at all this. Look at, let me point out a couple things. I'll get teary on this. Loving memory of Betty, I think that's Wall. That's her life right there. That's her life. And that's stone. That's her life. They paid a lot of money for that because that's her life. This guy's whole life, right there, his whole life, they paid a lot of money for that. Look all around. All those people's lives. Have you ever heard the saying about there's two dates on there with a dash in between? It's the dash that makes the difference. Downer time. We're all going to die in here. Oh, that sounded like tonight. Not tonight. But we're all going to die at some time. My mom and dad's headstone, I've never seen since we buried him. It's the last time I saw it. I will not go back and see that headstone because it just got the name on there and the dates. That's not where my mom and dad are. Now, when I go to a farm and I see wheat kind of waves in the wind, that's where my mom and dad will be. If I see a sunrise or a sunset, that's where my mom and dad are. On my desk, two of the most god-awful pictures you can ever imagine of my mom and dad. They're not professionally taken, they're snapshots. The one I would show you, except mom would come right up out of that grave and me right now, because it's a terrible, awful picture. It's my mom. It's what I remember of her. Now, I'm a photographer. I could have taken pictures of my mom and dad, but there was always going to be time. Oh, you don't need to take a picture now. I'm not dressed. There'll always be time. Well, there was always time until there wasn't time. And instead, we buy those and we put those up. I'm not saying don't do that. Those are nice. That's how people remember that. And that's a remembrance. That's this person's way of saying, I was here. When I was in the 7th grade, we had to memorize Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. And you know, the only thing I can remember out of that, and even as a 7th grader, it scared me. People will little note nor long remember. We are temporary. We're here for a very short amount of time. And I hope you all
have something more than that. And here's what you have that not everybody else has. You have the ability to take pictures of what you see. Now, my mom and dad, I don't have pictures of them, but I had shoe boxes. And like, for those of you that are old enough, we used to get those little 4x5 things, and some were out of focus, but you kept them because they grew up during the Depression, and you got it, you were going to keep it. And about every other month, we'd sit down on a Saturday night and we'd go through the pictures and tell stories about those. And that was their life. Things that they saw in their life. I found out about my mom and dad by looking at the things they saw. Now I'm going to show you this. How many of you print your pictures? Everybody in here better raise their hand. And here's why you better raise your hand. If you say, oh, I've got my pictures on my computer. Well, when you go, those pictures are gone. Because if you think somebody's going to go through your computer and find the pictures, no, your nephew is going to get the computer and use it for porn. So let me just say this. Those pictures are gone. And I can prove that to you because you remember, those of you that are like my age, you remember, and then we had iDrives, and then they had CDs. And wait, you don't even have CD readers anymore. So if you think, oh, my pictures are saved, no, they're gone. Once you're gone, they're gone. Get you a shoebox and print the pictures and put them in there. Or this is what I do. It's a little self-published book. Just pictures of stuff that I've seen. They're fairly cheap. When I go, there's no inheritance. Boy, are the people going to be disappointed. But I got books. I got books. And you know what? Those people are going to see things that I've seen in my life. They may throw them away. That's their choice. But at least they have the option. They'll get to see what I saw in my life. Think about the pictures and what you're going to be remembered for. Oh, let me burn some people up. Are they going to look back and say, this was the picture that scored 84? See, they don't care about 84, do they? They care about, oh, that's my cousin D. I remember cousin D. That's what they remember. They don't remember the 84. That's my father-in-law. I take pictures of him all the time. What's the difference in light? Look at that. Hard light. That's a nice gentleman right there. That's nobody to be messed with. That's my wife. I take pictures of her all the time. Just window light. Just window light. When I'm gone, people will know that I loved and I was loved. Please print your pictures. Don't leave money. Money's here and gone. Leave memories. Leave things that people will take away with them. Now, here's the thing. If you go home and say, oh, nice talk tonight, or you could say, oh, that was bad tonight. But if you go home and don't do anything, you should have stayed home watching Wheel of Fortune. Get your camera and go out. Have some disasters if you need to. Maybe in those disasters, you'll get a good picture or two as well. Take a chance. Roll the dice. What do you got to lose? It's just pixels. Create some memories. If you ever need to get a hold of me, that's me right there. Thanks for having me.
That's great. Oh.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, super.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks so much. Thank you.